Yo, what's up, boys and girls? It's Swolelax here, and I'm back at it again with another video, something a little bit different. Today, welcome back to the new and improved, it is here for the Cyber Dragon deck profile. You guys know I love Cyber Dragons, and it holds a near and dear place in my heart as a GX fanboy. I love it seeing this good. It is so fun to play, and so consistent too, which is absolutely fantastic. All the new support is great. I love this deck, and I hope you guys like it too. So actually, without further ado, let's just jump into the deck. No more introductions. Let's just go into it. We have 3 copies of Cyber Dragon, the OG. This card has withstood the test of time. It is beautiful in its rarity, and in addition to that, it's just a solid card to have. 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core. This card is amazing. You can get access to all your Cyber Dragon spells and trap cards. You can banish it from the graveyard. It's probably one of the best machine duplication targets. And in addition to that, it just is such a great card. It is so good, it hers. Get it? So good it hers. Whatever. Anyways, Cyber Dragon Hers is the next one. You have 3 copies of this. Not only is it a machine dupe target as well, but if it's sent to the graveyard, you can search a Cyber Dragon from your deck to your hand, or add one from your graveyard to your hand, which is absolutely fantastic. You're not going to be using the other effect 9 times out of 10. Guarantee it. It's not a bad effect by any means, but you're just going to be using it for its search primarily. So that's that to start off that lineup. 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Veer. There's never a time where I'm itching for more than 1 copy of this. I know some people were saying, play 2, play 3. And listen, if you open multiple of these, yes, you can technically chain it off itself. You can normal summon it and then special summon the other copy you have. However, I firmly believe that Cyber Dragon Veer is just okay at 1. I've never just like, man, I really wish I had an extra Veer here. So, I mean, it's a great target for certain things, and you don't necessarily, it's not a bad normal summon by any means. 1 copy of Cyber Elton. Honestly, I'm going to be really honest with you guys. It is... I sided this card out 9 times out of 10. It's not a bad card by any means, similar to Veer. However, it is one of those cards where I was like, okay, in certain scenarios, it can clear board, and it can also synergize really well with Cyberlord Fusion. However, it was just not super needed. In addition to that, on top of everything, I may actually take out this card entirely for a 2nd copy of Overlord Fusion, but play around with it if you guys like it. It's personal preference, salt to taste preference as always. So, 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier, the honorary Cyber Dragon. This card is phenomenal. It's essentially 1 card Nova, especially paired with something like hers. It is actually fantastic. In addition to that, a big body on the board, so if you guys need it, it's great. Definitely a 3 of inside the deck. It's so powerful, it hurts. So, 2 copies of the Star Destroyer Kaiju. This card is great. Not only having a big body you can search inside the deck is fantastic, but their searchable spell removal is great, especially because a lot of big boss monsters nowadays just are so hard to get rid of. So just being able to tribute it off for nothing and boom, get it away. And you can even scoop this card up and go into your Chimera Check Forge Dragon, which makes it even better. And it being searchable, it adds the icing on top of the cake. So 2 of those. Next, we have 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and 2 copies of Effect Filer. So, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, aka Snogre and Effect Filer here, are my budget hand traps. I actually personally like them inside the deck, like not necessarily in a budget way, because they are light monsters. They synergize well with something like Galaxy Soldier, so I can discard them if I need to. Plus, Ghost Ogre just destroys, absolutely demolishes rogue decks. It's insane. It's so good this format. In addition to that, Effect Filer is still really good. It's a nice little hashtag budget boys infinite permanent if you guys don't necessarily have it. It can come handy in certain scenarios as well. So I'm running 2 of those, but that slots is mainly reserved for your hand traps. It's a salt of preference taste if you guys want to run Ash Blossom, Drone Lockbird. By all means, go for it. That slot's is kind of more reserved for that, but I would not run more than 4 slots for hand traps, or 4 slots for cards for hand traps. And that's going to be it for the main deck, guys. Let me know what you guys think of it. But now let's go on to the 3 copies of Cyber Emergency. It's finally here. I know last time I was profiling this with proxies. However, now I have the real cards. They arrived shortly after, but hey, it's whatever. This card is really, really great. It's definitely what the deck needed. Just a nice, consistent searcher in the deck. Definitely a 3 of, and it's searchable with Cyber Dragon Core. So that is good. 3 copies of Machine Dupe. Machine Duplication is actually really great in this deck. So previously, I was only running this card at 2. However, I was reading the comments and you guys were like, no, Swole, you got to run this card at 3. It's absolutely insane. You got Core and hers. And you know what? I listened to you guys. I played around with it. and you're not wrong. It's probably one of the best ways to get your combo started and facilitate your OTKs. It's just free material at this point. And in addition to that, if you open multiple copies, one of them gets Ash Blossom, you just use the other one, and your opponent gets sad and sometimes scoops. I've had that happen so many times. It's hilarious. And in addition, you have, like I said, you have Hers and Core as your machine dupe targets, so you can use those as you please. 3 copies is fantastic. I mean, with correct skilled play, or however you want to say it, those cards don't brick by any means, so love it. 3 copies of Twin Twisters. Twin Twisters is interesting in this format because every deck's a back row deck nowadays. So having this spot removal is absolutely fantastic. Of course, against decks like Altergeist, even True Draco matchup is pretty free. In addition to that, I think it's just great for discarding cards to the graveyard and having that set up for later. Also super good. And having back row removal and just spot removal in general is great. Twin Twisters is a fantastic card. So 2 of those, or 3 of those, sorry. Next, we have 2 copies of Cyber Repair Plan. Cyber Repair Plan didn't necessarily get power crept by Cyber Emergency slightly. The only issue is that Cyber Repair Plan does slightly have a little more setup to it. You have to have a Cyber Dragon inside the graveyard, so there is that. However, it can search multiple things: Galaxy Soldier, Star Destroyer, Kaiju, Inspector Border if you're playing it. So this card does have its uses. However, it is searchable, so you don't necessarily need to run it more than 2. I see actually people running this card at 1 of, but 2 of them maximum I think is perfectly fine. Next, we have onto the 1-ofs. We have 1 copy of our Overload Fusion. This slot's actually reserved for our Cyberload Fusion, funny enough. I think that this Overload Fusion is just slightly better for me, but it is Assault to preference, taste, and opens in a lot of this deck profile, but play around with the deck, see what you guys like. Overload Fusion, Cyberload Fusion, great cards, both of them, but personally I like Overload Fusion just a little bit more. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is great for getting combo started. However, I did side this card out quite a bit when I was playing with it, just because I think, you know, it's nice to have just in case. However, being a 1-of, it's not super integral to the deck. 1 copy of Cyber Rev System. So, funny enough, Cyber Rev System, people have been saying, Swole, you got to play this card at 2 of, you got to play this card at 3 of. Let's talk for just a brief second. So, Cyber Rev System is good. Do not get me wrong. However, is it good enough to run at 3? Absolutely not. It bricks so many times, and on paper, it's a great card. It's a non-once per turn, especially something that is searchable for Cyber Dragons. However, I think running at 1, maximum 2 of, is the perfect and the correct ratio. And finally, 1 copy of Monster Reborn, because obviously that card is nuts. And that's going to be for the spell cards. Let's go into the trap cards. We have 3 copies of Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike is actually really good. It put in a lot of legwork for this deck, especially against rogue decks, like I said, with something like Snoger. And in addition to that, speaking of hand traps, this slot, these 3 cards here, can be reserved for any trap card that you choose. I know this, I've been saying a lot of modifications with this deck. However, I think if you're running 3 copies of Evenly Matched, this deck is so powerful. However, Solemn Strike is a great budget alternative, and it's also really good just in general. Even if you have Evenly Matched and you don't want to play them necessarily, you want to do it side deck. Honestly, Solemn Strike's great. I don't have any problems with this and running it at 3. Then we have 2 copies of Cybernetic Overflow. Cybernetic Overflow, oh my god, guys. This card is great. I don't even know, I think I've talked about this multiple times. I probably should just make an entire video gushing about this card. But Cybernetic Overflow, number 1, I wish it was in a higher rarity because this card artwork is beautiful. Secondly, you set it, you activate it. The banishing your Cyber Dragon monsters to activate it is not cost. So your opponent has to respond to it then and there, and then, if they don't have a negate, then they're getting their stuff destroyed. It's absolutely fantastic. Non-targeting spell removal on top of that. In addition to that, if it's destroyed by card effect, yours or your opponent's, you can search cyber spells or traps. Yeah, I honestly, you could run this card at 3. I'm running at 2 just because it's searchable and I want to see other combo pieces. However, I have no problem if you run this card at 3. This card is just great. Super fun. I love it. And that's going to be for the main deck, guys. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comment section down below. Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? Would you guys change it at all? Let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get inside of the extra deck. We have 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Zeger. Cyber Dragon Zeger is phenomenal. Probably one of my favorite, if not the favorite, of the legacy cards getting new link support. Arrows are super good. In addition to that, its attack boosting effects really good. And it's just, you know, it's easy to get out, which is great. 1 copy of Summon Sorceress. This card is used with cards like Nightmare Griffin for the Cyber Dragon combo. If you guys want to check out the combo using these 2 cards, you can check in the description down below. It's probably one of my favorite combo kits I put out. I had a lot of fun making it. So yeah, check this out. They'll be sick. Mainly used for the combo. 1 copy of Clear Genius. It can be used to Link Climb. However, it's just kind of a nice generic machine. Link Monster, its arrows are really convenient. And it also has a pretty good negation on top of that as well. 1 copy of Link Karibo. Link Karibo is a weird contingency card in the deck, funny enough. Sometimes you just can't do anything else but go into Link Karibo and start your combos from there. It's kind of awkward, but you can still do it, and it's just nice to have just in case. And next on the XYZs, we have 1 copy of Constellar Pleiades. Sometimes you just can't go into your 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Nova and 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Infinity. Nice little segue there, huh? Nova is obviously really amazing for the deck. Its revival effect is super good, and its OTK potential is amazing. In addition to that, Cyber Dragon Infinity is probably hands down one of the best boss monsters to ever grace this game. It is so powerful. Its acquisition effect and its negation effect are incredible, and it's just an intimidating monster to get over. It's actually a pretty big body. You can boost it with Zeger. I love this card. XYZs have always been strong inside of Cyber Dragons, so there's that. Next, onto the fusions. We have 1 copy of Chimera Rampage Dragon. Rampage Dragon is great for its spot removal. In addition to that, it also can be used for Nova and Infinity. And for the OTKs, there's sometimes where I'll just have this card on board, have a Zeger pointing at it, and then boost this thing, double attack to 4,200, and then swing 3 times for 4,200 for game. It's really fun. Great card. 1 copy of Chimera Fortress Dragon. Chimera Fortress Dragon is great for whenever you want to scoop your opponent's monsters and you don't necessarily have anything else but that. It does come up sometimes where I do need multiple of them, and like the ABC matchup, it's really good. It's almost free at that point, which is phenomenal. But yeah, it's just pretty good. And then we have 2 copies of Chimera Mega Fleet Dragon. Oh my gosh, this card is the MVP of the extra deck. I cannot stress that enough. Thunder Dragons, goodbye. Gokis, goodbye. Extralings, goodbye. This thing is amazing. Sky Strikers, peace out, my man. Honestly, this card is so good for the support, and I can't believe it came out so long ago where I was like, it's a pretty good card, it's pretty alright, but it's so good. It's just like designed really well, it's contact fusion, it's really fair. In addition to that, you can also boost it with Zeger, which like can get over a bunch of monsters, which is fantastic, and it gets rid of problematic boards, which is just great. A lot of times you can just normal summon your Cyber Dragon core, scoop away your monsters, and go from there. It's great. And I keep on saying it's great, but it is really good. And then finally, 1 copy of Cyber End Dragon. Cyber End Dragon is one of the, I guess, tech cards inside this deck. So if your opponent was to destroy Nova, which can happen, its effect is that it can summon a machine fusion from the extra deck. So I have Cyber End Dragon here because it's a big body, 4,000 monster that is piercing, and of course, Legacy GX fandom. So that is pretty fun to have, and it's actually really hilarious to see that get summoned out and using that piercing effect. It's pretty. And then we have a Swolelax first. So you guys are seeing this live. We got a super secret extra deck. If you guys want to see this, you go ahead and hit that like button, smash the subscribe button to see. I'm just joking, guys. Let's get into this. We have a full 15 card side deck. Super good. The first of a Swolelax deck profile. I usually don't profile side decks. I'm like, yeah, you guys can figure it out. It's fine. But I'm pretty proud of this one. So we have 3 copies of Gozen Match. I think Gozen Match is great this format. I think obviously people are like, oh, this card's so overpowered. And it's really good. I think this card and Rivalry of Warlords are both marginally, I guess, like better, so to speak, for the deck. Like it's better because it's machine monsters, so you're not limited to just that. You can go into literally all your extra deck monsters at that point. However, I think Gozen Match is just better against stuff like Ultrageist and things that the deck is weak to. So I think Gozen Match really protects it there, whereas Rivalry doesn't necessarily cover everything, but Gozen Match is just really good against those decks. In addition to that, we have 3 copies of Psyframe Gear Gamma and 1 copy of Psyframe Driver. So 3 copies of Gamma and 1 copy of Driver. Gamma is really good this format because of the negation and the destruction, similar to Ghost Ogre. In addition to that, you don't really clog your hand too much because they are light monsters, so you can discard them with something like Galaxy Soldier if you need to use it as material. It's actually a really great card in general, and you could honestly main deck it if you wanted to. 3 copies of Red Reboot. Red Reboot is amazing, absolutely amazing, and a great budget option against the back row decks, especially Ultrageist. You can play this card, they'll get upset, and it's so good. This and Twin Twisters, you just really, really hate back row. And a lot of decks this format are back row decks, or a back row centric deck anyway, so that's fun. 3 copies of Artifact Sanctum. So this card has been seeing a lot more popular play recently because of cards like Artifact Scythe, Artifact Schleich, my guy. Sanctum is really amazing because you can summon Scythe straight from the deck. Plus, if it gets popped, then you can pop the card on the field, which is really good. Scythe is, oh my gosh, this is the spice. If you're seeing this card, you're probably winning. Level 5 light monster, so you can go into cards like Concealer Pleiades, so it does synergize kind of well there. But if it is summoned on your opponent's turn, then you can, or this is a special summon on your opponent's turn, then what you can do is that you can lock your opponent out of your extra deck. They can't summon extra deck monsters, period. You are probably winning. They're probably scooping. This card's also being 2200. It's a pretty beefy body. That effect lasts all turn. It's not just like, oh, once it's off the field, you can summon monsters again. No, all turn. This card is great. Artifact Schleich, my guy. And finally, the last card, Elemental Hero Neos. So, funny enough, I felt really uncomfortable just having 14 cards in the extra deck inside the side deck, and I was like, you know, this card is it just needs to be in there. I need to be able to say that I win games with Neos. Sadly enough. But funny, I just was like, you know, I can't think of one card I necessarily need in there that's a 1-of that I really want to go into. I mean, I have multiple copies of everything, almost 3s of full sets of everything. So I could technically do 2 copies of Scythe, but you pretty much only need 1 copy. If you're seeing 1 copy, you're probably winning anyway. So Elemental Hero Neos is just a great little filler there. And it's light, so technically it, you know, synergizes with something like Galaxy Soldier, if we're going by that logic. So, yeah, there's that. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think of it inside the comment section down below. Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? What would you change about it? What for the next refinement of this Cyber Dragon deck? I know you guys were itching to see this, so I hope that you guys liked it. I hope you guys like the pure Cyber Dragon, the more budget Cyber Dragons. I'm a fan of them, obviously. Huge GX fanboy, so it's super fun. And let me know if you guys want to see more in deck profiles. You want to see more of the 100 game series. If you guys want to check out these Cyber Dragon combos that I've been posting, links will be in the description down below. And comment if you guys have any suggestions about decks I should do in the future. I'd be more than happy to look into it, test, and then go from there. If you guys like the video, make sure to leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. Got more videos coming in the pipeline, so stay tuned for that if you want to. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Peace out.